So before we begin, for those of you curious to know how I actually found some of these locations, the answer is a whole shit ton of Google mapping and watching the movie frame by frame. Now, granted, I wasn't able to find every location using that method. I had to reach out and actually have some help from someone close to the movie who, shout out to them for helping me out with some of these locations because I was at a complete loss. As for the other locations that were not documented, I found them going frame by frame and using just my knowledge of the valley and trying to see where it could possibly be. And I couldn't believe it when I found a few of these locations. There's actually, I think, 2 or 3 that I found on my own that I was just absolutely proud of. As for the other ones, which I'll give you an example, Cosmo's house, which is the house Johnny gets dropped off at the end. And I believe it was Tico's house. And I think there was another one. Oh, Angela's house is another one. Those I had to actually get some help finding. But the other ones I found on my own, and I am super proud of myself for finding them. And I am absolutely stoked that I'm going to be the first person to actually post filming locations on Alpha Dog. If you don't count, people doing the Palm Springs, locations, because I mean, those are kind of obvious or they're more known, right? But a comprehensive filming locations on Alpha Dog, it's going to be amazing to do. Be the first one to do. So let's go. Let's do it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we find ourselves here in the valley, and more precisely, we find ourselves in Van Nuys, California, which is about about 4 or 5 miles away from Hollywood proper. And we're doing the filming locations for, of course, the 2006 movie Alpha Dog. So after the establishing shot of the freeway that fades into Johnny's house, which is right behind me, we're led to believe that we're in Calabasas, California, when in actuality we're in Van Nuys. Now, that freeway, why they chose it, I have no idea, because that freeway is actually the freeway that connects Santa Clarita and the valley, which is, I don't even think that's even close to Calabasas, or perhaps it is, but it's definitely not in Calabasas, that's for sure. Now, the house, like I said, is here in Van Nuys, California. And why we have to establish Calabasas and not Van Nuys, who knows? Anytime I do these filming locations, you tend to notice that they just, I don't know, everything just seems random. Surely there has to be a reason why they say it's in one place and then they film it in another when they can't. I mean, these houses are all just seemingly random, but I'm sure there's a method to the madness. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll find out and give you guys the answer. But nevertheless, we're here. And like I said, this is one of the locations that was absolutely ridiculously hard to find. And I spoke with the neighbor of the house that's in front of this house, which you do see in the movie, and she actually let me know that they watch Justin Timberlake and everybody play hoops and hang around the house during the duration of the filming, that they just posted up here on the lawn with some chairs and just kick back and watch the whole filming, which is awesome. She also told me that I am the first person to ever come down here and mention that this is the house from Alpha Dog, which is amazing. So I told you it's gonna be the first documentation of the locations for Alpha Dog on YouTube, probably on the internet, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. But nevertheless, let's get a little closer to the house and let's see what we can line up and what we can't line up. So the first thing that we actually notice is it is now fenced up. And in the movie, of course, there was no fence, and you can get a crystal clear picture of the entirety of the house. Now I'm gonna try my hardest to show you things and line things up as best as I can, given that, of course, our view is obscured. So we fade into this shot right here, and I'm gonna try to use the tripod to get a better angle of this, but we get a rough shot of the house similar to this one. Of course, like I said, we have a obscured vision of the house, given that there's trees now, a lot more trees and shrubbery, and of course the fence. But you can notice that the pitch of the roof is a little weird right above the garage where they're all working out. We can see the basketball court clearly. And you can tell, obviously, that the backboard and the rim have since been changed, but the pole is definitely the same. It's in the same spot. Now, to see the house itself is a little difficult because they not only have the fence, the shrubbery, but they also have decorations, if I didn't mention it. And in the movie, you can see the neighbor's house with this very ornate pitch to the roof. They actually look like pagodas. It actually looks really, really nice. But you can make these out in the movie, of course, because this separating line of trees was not there. It was a lot more bland back in the day. But yeah, here we are, Johnny Truelove's house. Welcome to Encino, California, and we're here at a sports center whose name I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce. I believe it's Danish, but I try to look up a pronunciation and there's no way, I would totally butcher it. But I'll put the name somewhere around here so you could look it up and maybe give it a try. Anyway, if it wasn't plainly obvious, this is the baseball field of what I would consider the second main scene of the movie, where Bruce Willis is at the batter's plate hitting balls to who I assume is Johnny's little brother. It's never explicitly stated, but I would assume that it's his little brother. And here is where Johnny would pull up from the right side of the frame, come over right here, and he would park right where the black Jeep is parked. And then this is where we actually meet Cosmo for the first time, who starts busting Johnny's balls about, it's a Friday night, why are you not chasing no tail? And starts telling them, men are not supposed to be monopolists. It's in our nature to spread the seed. That all happened right back there. Of course, we'll head back there in a minute so that we can frame up some shots and everything. But nevertheless, right here where the camera's at, this would have been the establishing shot for the baseball field. So shortly after that establishing shot from on the field, we get a pan shot of Johnny rolling this way, and he ultimately parks right here where this black Jeep would have been, or is rather, and he comes through the entryway with Adolf in hand, walks this way toward Cosmo, and that's where he gives him the hey, and Cosmo gives him just a simple hey. Cosmo would have been seated right here on the third one, and of course the bleachers would have been pushed more that way for the film. I'm not sure if that was for filming or that just so happened to be the placement of it at the time. I would assume the latter. Anyway, so right after we get the two hays, for some reason, Johnny ends up coming from this direction, walking toward this part of the batter's cage, and he would have ultimately ended up right here where he starts talking to Sonny about Bobby 911.
Stuff right there, baby. Have a bat, I'll throw you a couple.
Hey!
Hey. Hey, remember what I told you? Men are not supposed to be monopolists. It's in our nature to spread the seed.
Yeah, very poetic. Come on. Come on.
So right after the scene with Johnny at Circus Liquor getting his load from, I guess, his plug, I suppose, for the lack of a better term, we cut over to the house behind me, which is obviously the Mazursky residence. And we do see this house, I want to say 3 times, 4 if you technically count the interior when Jake comes in, when the whole fiasco is going on, when they're looking for Zach. So we do see it a couple times. Again, we see the exterior of it maybe 3 times. And the first shot we get of it is when Jake is pulling up and he comes from that direction, pulls up here, and that's when he's asking his dad for the $800, which of course they say no to because they've bailed him out, countless times according to the dad or to the parents. And then we get a shot of it again when he's coming out to his car all pissed off and Zach comes out following him, trying to go hang out with his brother. But of course his brother has business, and that business would be to go to Johnny Truelove's house to tell him that he doesn't have the money. So the second instance of when we see this house is right after Jake gets the call from Olivia, super pissed off as to the whereabouts of Zach. Of course, Zach is there at the apartment with Jake and his girlfriend, just chilling, smoking weed, drinking beer, and just, you know, having a good time. But of course, Olivia, being the possessive mom that she is, doesn't want Zach out and about doing things, especially at night. So Jake, being, you know, drunk, high, super upset at the situation earlier where his dad didn't want to lend him the $800, we have him barreling down that street over there, hanging the left and coming up the driveway and parking on the patch of grass there. Well, we have Zach's mom and dad right here by the door. And after they drop him off, we then get Jake taking off, going up the rest of the lawn and coming down on that side of the pole off the curb and headed back to where he started, well, where he came from. And at the time, there used to be a tree, and you can still see where the tree used to be, of course, because they've ripped the stump out and it left a little crater. The third and final time that we see the exterior of this house is the scene right after Zach gets confronted by his parents about them finding the bong. Of course, Zach, not wanting to deal with that, decides that it would be best to just sneak out of the house and just go wherever, you know? And his room would have actually been the window to, I believe, what is it, the right of the frame? And the window he sneaks out of course, is the left one, because we see him jump off of the porch. Now, the reason I know that his bedroom is this one right here is because while he's getting changed and getting ready, you can see that the window is along, like it's a lot longer than what he jumps out of. Now, in the shot, while he's walking down the hallway, you can see the room that window connects to. Now, you can argue that he knew that he could just get out of that bedroom, that is probably just an empty bedroom, and he got ready in his room, went next door to the other bedroom and hopped out that window, which is how I see it, as opposed to them trying to make you think that he jumped out of his own bedroom, which is probably the case. But nevertheless, yeah, that's where we see it. He jumps down here off of the porch down to the grass, and he heads in this direction right behind me. So here's a funny one. So when we go to Johnny's house for the party, the scene actually starts with a music video. Now, funny enough, that music video, I never noticed this, but it's called Guns and Bitches, which is absolutely hilarious to me. That music video was actually shot right behind me where this parking lot now is. They demolished the old courts to make way for to revamp this recreation center. which is great because it looks really, really nice. But the reason that I know that this is the spot is because if you notice right behind me, there's a restaurant called La Taqueria or La Naranja Taqueria. And right behind the guys that are shooting that other guy with that atrocious, like absolutely atrocious CGI bullet impact, or bullet impacts, you can see that restaurant right behind me. And it's somewhat blurry, but me knowing Spanish, I was able to kind of decipher what it was saying. And naranja means orange, so I was like, well, the building is orange, and that word looked close to naranja, so I put it together, you know, and put it in Google, and sure enough, it popped up. And then here we are, guys, guns and bitches.
Punk ass bitches.
So here we are at Universal Studios Hollywood on this super freezing cold night. And the reason we're here is, well, twofold, because I'm actually going to watch Den of Thieves 2 at AMC at City Walk. And not to mention that actually one of the filming locations is here on Universal. I didn't know this. I mean, I knew it was in Universal City, but I didn't know it was like at the front gate. You know, you can see the globe right behind me, of course. Well, the restaurant that we're actually looking for was right behind me. And the reason I say was is because in 2018, I believe, it was demolished. Now, this restaurant was the one that Johnny, Sonny, Cosmo, and all of his friends were having lunch or dinner, and they were giving Wanda, who is Jake's girlfriend, a very hard time. This was that, it was used to be called the Saddle Ranch, and it was a Western-themed restaurant. And in the scene, we have the that girl riding the bull as we pan over to the right. Now, we pan over to the right to see them all eating, and Wanda is in the background cleaning a table. Now, thankfully, even though the restaurant is gone, Google Maps actually has, well, this place like, well, mapped, so you can see it. And of course, I'll try to throw it in here. But also, too, thankfully, Yelp. Someone on Yelp actually took the pictures of the exact location where everyone is sitting and eating, and where Wanda's actually wiping the table. So thank you to you, whoever you are, for taking that fantastic picture. When I saw it, I was like, this is absolutely a lifesaver here. But yeah, here it was. This is where the Saddle Ranch used to be, and well, now it's just empty, and they haven't utilized it for anything. And you can see some of the remnants of the restaurant. I think just a couple handrails left over, I think a few steps. But yeah, right here at Universal, this is where Wanda used to work from Alpha Dog.
I was fucking my dog one time, right? No.
Hey, no, Dad. Hey, come on. I got it.
You got it. Man. This guy.
Right after Zach runs away from home, we cut to a shot of him walking through these utility towers, making his way to who knows where at this point. But this is when he spots the van coming his way with Johnny and Frankie. they point, oh, I think it's Johnny who points it out to Frankie, or maybe it's Frankie who points it out to Johnny. I'm not entirely sure. But one of them points it out to the other that's Tattooey's brother, I think is how they put it. So Johnny, Frankie, and Tico would have been coming from this direction, and after spotting Zach, they would have parked pretty much right here where the Charger is at currently. Then they would have gotten out and chased Zach in this direction, right over here.
Fucking kidding me? What? It's Tattooey's brother. Pull over. Hey, what's up?
So Zach sees him getting out of the van. He then decides to bolt going in this direction, and he trips somewhere in this area, and then they proceed to give him a beating. And in between the beating, you can see the camera cutting back and forth between his perspective and theirs. And in between those shots, you can see a lot of the towers here, and of course you can see the receiving station E right behind them. So after handing Zach that vicious beatdown, they would have grabbed him and thrown him into the van that would have been parked, like I said, next to the Charger. Frankie, I think, is the one in the driver's seat, and he decides to just take off and leave Johnny behind. And then you get that shot of the mirror where Johnny's standing here like this, just super annoyed and pissed off at Frankie. Frankie, again, I think he was doing it on purpose, I'll be honest with you. I kind of get that vibe that he's still fucking around, even though it's a serious situation, that he leaves Johnny behind, because when he reverses, he comes back and then completely skips Johnny again. And Johnny tries to grab the handle and this dude doesn't let him. That's when Johnny, out of frustration, just kicks the shit out of the side of the van. And that's when Frankie actually lets him get in. But I honestly think that Frankie was just fucking with him. Even though it's a super serious situation, Frankie just seems like the type that would just keep giving shit to anybody, no matter the circumstance. So finally, after Frankie lets Johnny into the van, they head off into that direction. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This location is absolutely terrifying to do because you can hear the buzzing of the electricity. Like, it's such high voltage, it is seriously audible. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but man, when I was walking underneath the tower here, man, I was getting a little nervous there because you can hear the buzz of the electricity, just the current. It's wild. If you're gonna come down here, just be very careful. Do not touch any of the metal, nothing. Stay away from do not touch the metal posts, anything like that. Just come, see, take pictures, whatever, if you're gonna come here, if it's really, worth it to you. But yeah, just stay away from the actual towers themselves.
What are we gonna do with the kid, man? Who cares?
Are you nuts? You can't do that. You guys are out of your fucking mind.
So right after Johnny has a conversation with Zach at Frankie's house during the party, it leaves him kind of desperate and not knowing what to do with Zach at this point. So I guess he figures that he could make amends with Jake, but of course that's not gonna happen. In the scene, he shows up here at the Norwood bar, and at the time there used to be a payphone right here. Now I don't know if that payphone was there in real life or they just put it there for the movie. Either way, yeah, he was standing right in front of this, I guess, I wouldn't know what to call this. I mean, this is a rock wall. That I don't know what kind of wall to call it. But he was in front of this, and we only get about 3 shots, I believe. We get one, as he calls Jake, we get a shot of him facing the Norwood bar. And then we get a lot of shots of him facing, well, the camera would be facing the Norwood Auto Care Center, and you can definitely see that in the background, of course.
Straighten out all this shit once and for all?
There's nothing to straighten out, motherfucker. I know it was you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Johnny, I know. I know.
So then we get one more shot of Johnny just hanging up on the lawyer in defeat, knowing that he's either facing life in prison or, you know, getting his ass kicked by Jake. And the shot we get is something like this. And there you have it, the Norwood bar. So as Johnny, Angela, and Pick are celebrating Angela's birthday, we're led to believe by an exterior shot that they're at a place called Luna's. Well, in actuality, the interiors were shot here at Celia's. Now, they use the exterior twice. They use it once for the aforementioned scene where they're leaving, and you can see them, you know, where Angela's drunk trying to get in the car or whatever. We get that shot, so we can clearly make out that it's Luna's. But also, we get a shot of Johnny leaving the table when he's gonna make a phone call, and he's standing outside of the door on the side of the restaurant. Now, of course, that restaurant has since been torn down, and I tried my hardest to line up some shots, but I think I pretty much got it, and that shot would look something like this when he goes out and makes the phone call.
It's my birthday!
Happy birthday, girl! Can you guys give us a second?
Why?
I need to talk to you about something private.
Hurry!
So that take you just saw was like the 3rd one, and I didn't realize that there was a dude on a bike behind me waving hi, which is pretty cool, and I wanted to keep that take because of that. And now you see me doing like a little like this, but the reason I did that is not because I was annoyed, is because I didn't even realize someone was behind me. I just heard like wheels. I'm like, what? And then I went back to doing the video. But that was really funny and really cool. The dude was all excited to be in the video. But I just wanted to put that little disclosure there that I wasn't upset that he passed through the scene. He just rode by me, and that was really cool. But I didn't realize he was behind me. So, but that's why those eyes kind of went like, you know, a little weird, little shifty eye there, you know. But yeah, that was cool. I just wanted to put that disclosure there.